The U.S. Embassy in Tehran has been invaded and occupied by Iranian students.
This is an ABC News special. The Iran crisis. America held hostage.
The Iran hostage crisis that lasted from 1979 to 1981 was a result of the 1953 CIA coup. The coup of 1953 replaced Mossadegh with Mohammad Reza Shah, which created tensions between Iran and the U.S. In 1979, many radical rebels, inspired by the exiled Ayatollah Khomeini, led a revolution which overthrew the Shah. Khomeini came back and created the Islamic Republic of Iran. Later that year, radical students stormed the U.S. Embassy and took 58 American hostages. The major consequence of the broken Iran-U.S. relationship was the effect the oil embargo had on the U.S. economy. In addition, President Jimmy Carter lost the 1980 election because of his failure to handle the situation well. The Iran hostage crisis resulted in economic and diplomatic ramifications for the United States, as seen in Carter's political downfall, the broken Iran-American relations, and the oil embargo. Reza Shah Pahlavi appointed Mohammad Mossadegh Prime Minister of Iran in April 1951. The Anglo-Iranian Oil Company was a British-controlled company that exploited Iranian oil. Iran paid more taxes to the British government than it received in its oil profits. When Mossadegh took office of Prime Minister, he insisted on a Nationalization Act be passed against the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. This act upset the British because they wanted to keep their dominance on the Iran oil trade. Initially, the U.S. supported Mossadegh for his liberal efforts towards democracy. However, Mossadegh's alliance with the communist Tudeh Party during the Cold War repealed the U.S. support. The U.S. feared that Iran's association to communism would give way to Russian control of Iran's ports and oil refineries. The fear initiated the British and U.S. coup d'etat that ousted Mossadegh and brought back the Shah's power. The Shah's rule was a complete dictatorship. All publications were censored and freedom of speech did not exist. The Shah established the Savak, the secret police force that captured people politically opposed to the Shah and used inhuman torture methods. During the Shah's regime, although Westernization expanded businesses and foreign influence, the most significant result was the emergence of the middle class and a strong revival of Islam among the lower middle and lower classes. Every religion was accepted and respected, despite the fact that more than 95% of the population was Shiite Muslims. In addition, the top 5% of the population, the upper class and upper middle class, controlled most of Iran's wealth and political influence. This created a huge gap between the rich and the poor. Ayatollah Khomeini was the spiritual leader of the Iranian Revolution and of the hostage crisis. Khomeini spent his childhood and early adulthood studying Islamic law, ethics, philosophy, Gnosticism, and mysticism in the city of Qom. By 1944, Khomeini grew angry with the Shah for the secularization of Iran and began his political career. In 1963, Khomeini became a national leader in the anti-Pahlavi protests in Qom and was exiled for his views. Khomeini wanted to refocus the center of Iran around Islam.
In France, not only those who were in Paris, but those who were governing in France, and also the government of United Kingdom, the government of United States especially, and the government of Italy, they all wanted the Shah to be finished ruling that country. The Shah was the one who increased the price of the oil to what it should have been. When they increased the price, well, no doubt it had adverse effect on the economy of many countries, especially the United States. So they have seen all this that they think Shah has done it. And therefore they said, well, the best way is to kick him out.
In 1978, anti-Pahlavi forces, mainly the lower class, held open revolt inspired by Khomeini, which led to the overthrow of the Shah. The protesters shared Khomeini's vision of a future Iran without corruption. In January 1979, the Shah fled Iran and Khomeini came back from exile to lead the revolution. In March 1979, the Islamic Republic of Iran was created, with Khomeini as the leader.
President Carter allowed the Shah to enter the country for cancer treatment. That was all the fuel the student radicals in Tehran needed.
The U.S. Embassy in Tehran has been invaded and occupied by Iranian students. The Americans inside have been taken prisoner, and according to a student spokesman, will be held as hostages until the deposed Shah is returned from the United States.
While the Iranians burned an American flag in front of the embassy, they said the takeover had the express blessing of the Ayatollah Khomeini. In return for their American hostages' freedom, they're demanding the United States give up the deposed Shah of Iran from his hospital bed in New York.
On November 4th, 1979, a group of radical revolutionaries stormed the U.S. Embassy and took 58 American hostages. The radicals were demanding for the Shah to be sent back to Iran in order for the Iranian people to serve him justice. The students seized the embassy against the Marine Guards and vowed not to surrender until the U.S. returned the Shah. Iran's oil minister, Ali Akbar Moinfar, supported the students and announced that Iran would cut off its crude oil supplies to the U.S. if ordered to do so by Khomeini. 10,000 demonstrators and students swept the embassy cheering on, and many teenage girls were wearing the black chador to represent the Islamic Republic. Later, 50 students stormed the British embassy because the British were accused of sheltering former Prime Minister Shahbor Bakhtiar. The students and demonstrators burned American flags and effigies of political figures chanting, "Death to America, death to Carter."